Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is iTalk. Here, and in today's video we have a brand new video. So today I wanted to talk about something that came out of the woodwork as of yesterday. An article was published by Polygon, and then Fortnite Intel picked it up, and it was Epic employees reportedly work insane hours to keep Fortnite on top. And I'm just going to read a few quotes from this. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's a very lengthy article, but I will leave a link in the description for you guys to read it if you would so like to. This article pretty much confirms to me, with how often Fortnite updates the game, once a week and all that, it's no surprise to me that this was kind of going on, I guess you could say. The game industry has a crunch problem. Crunch is the term given to a group of employees who need to work long hours in order to finish a task. In video game development, crunch is usually common in the month leading up to the release of a game. But in the Epic Games Studios in Cary, North Carolina, crunch has become a common occurrence. Polygon is a leading site in games journalism, and they talked with various former and current Epic employees about the work culture at the studio. One saying, "I work an average 70 hours a week. There's probably at least 50 or even 100 other people at Epic working those hours. I know people who pull 100-hour weeks. The company gives us unlimited time off, but it's almost impossible to take that time. If I take that time off, the workload falls on other people and no one wants to be that guy. The executives keep reacting and changing things. Everything has to be done immediately. We're not allowed to spend time on anything. If something breaks, a weapon let's say, then we can't just turn it off and fix it in the next patch. It has to be fixed immediately. And all the while, we're still working on the next week's patch. It's brutal. I know some people who refuse to work weekends, and then we missed a deadline because their part of the package wasn't complete, and they were fired. People are losing their jobs because they don't want to work these hours. It's a hard, grindy, crunchy life. Everyone understands you are being paid more money than most people will ever make in their careers anywhere else. Your time is bought and accounted for. Shut up, keep your head down, and do the work." Fortnite Intel chimes in saying, "Those weekly patches that keep Fortnite fresh put an absurd amount of pressure on developers. How do you think the community would react if it came out every 2 weeks instead?" I will get to that at the very end. Finally, I'll just mention here, as Fortnite Battle Royale becomes popular, it changed to having to get a feature done with hardly any notice, and then having people stay until the feature was ready. So it went from having a month to prepare to something having as little as a day. A lot of it was mandatory staying at work with no notice until the job was done. Marketing had made a promise, and so we were told to have it done. This is actually kind of an interesting topic because no one really knew much about the behind the scenes of Fortnite, right? Like, we all play this game just to play the game. We bitch about the game. We love the game. We do yada, yada, yada. But we don't really take account the people that actually make the game. We don't really think about, man, I wonder how long Epic Games has been making this game for. Well, let's see, like, how much dedication they put time and effort into this game for us. Because here's the thing about Apex Legends, and I knew this from the beginning. To me, the reason why Apex Legends was never going to beat Fortnite was just because of how often Fortnite updates their game. And I've made, I think, like at least 2 videos about this now. I don't like having updates every single week. I'm okay with letting them take a breather every week and a half or 2 weeks, This is absurd how often they update the game. But it's what keeps their game on top. They keep updating the game. They keep making it a little bit different, so they give you something new to work with. They don't just give you the Call of Duty game you get every year, and then they patch the game every, month or 2. This is every single week for a free-to-play game. So it's pretty astounding to me that these guys work so many hours. My first question is, why not they hire more employees? But besides that whole thing, there was a whole thing about Red Dead Redemption 2 and how they actually kind of bragged that them working these kind of long hours made their game better, which, say what you want. I think Red Dead 2, from what I've read, was overall a pretty great game, except the multiplayer kind of fell flat and it was just a microtransaction dump. But that's just from what I've heard. I've never actually played the game. I can't give a full criticism of the game because, like I said, I haven't really fully played it. So what I'm trying to say here is that it seems like this was kind of obvious, right? If they weren't working this many hours, then they had more employees that were working maybe 50-hour weeks. These guys are putting in crunch time basically, it seems like, all year round, because like I said, this game updates every week, not every 2 weeks, not every 3 weeks, not every month, every single week that these guys bring out something new, which again, I tell them, you don't need to put out a new weapon, a new item every single week. You really don't need to do that. Every 2 weeks, I even think is excessive, but every week? Like, could you imagine how much development time it would take to make a brand new item every single week? Even if it is like, let's just say like the grappler, right? And then they vaulted it and then they gave us like the baller, and the baller had assets from the grappler. That still takes a lot of time to make. Even if you're borrowing assets from other items, I still think that takes quite a while to actually make something like that. So to me, this just seems like Epic Games need to either employ more people, or they need to slow down with the updates, because this seems way too excessive. I don't want Epic Games to be in this position. I don't want Epic Games to force their employees to work this many hours, even though they say you can take off whenever you want, but then you let the workload fall on other people. And here's another thing, right? Here's a huge thing. Epic Games, someone told me this. They said Steam actually makes more money than Epic Games. But remember, Epic Games makes a ton of money for this game. It's free to play as well. It's free to play. I have to keep reminding myself that this is a free to play game, and it's making all this money. They have the support a creator program where if you put in someone's code, that you get 5% of their revenue. Like, no other company does that. Again, they are the most consumer friendly video game I think I've ever seen in my life. But it does raise some eyebrows when you see how these employees have been treated with just working these relentless hours. And I just hope that Epic Games actually either hires more employees. I think that's all it is. I think that's all they need, because like, you got artists working on skins constantly. They've said it takes 9 to 12 weeks to make skins. So they got people making skins, they got people making items, they got people making updates, they got all these people doing all these things. And they're still working 70 to 100 hours. You'd think that maybe they would hire some new employees at the same time, but at the same time as well as that, you know, what if people don't want more employees? What if they want to keep their pay higher? Because obviously, the more employees you have, the more your pay is going to get cut, because you got to split with everybody, right? You're being paid more money than most people will ever make in their careers anywhere else. Your time is bought and accounted for. Shut up, keep your head down, and do the work. If you're making all this money, but you're working all these hours, is it worth it? To me, it seems kind of sort of worth it, because you're working at a desk job. You're not doing hard labor or anything. So it's somewhat decent, like, work conditions. But again, 70-hour weeks, that's 10 hours a day. And some people even work 100+ hours just to get some updates done. That's a little ridiculous to me. That basically to me means your whole life is at work, and I don't think anyone wants that, regardless of how much money you make. If you don't have time to go to your house and to enjoy your family and your friends, then is it even really worth it for just money? To some people, it might be. People want to make a lot of money. You also got to remember that these guys are getting constantly told to revert the changes, and they're getting all this hate from other sources and all that stuff, and they're still keeping up with making this game what it is today. And honestly, like I said, I am so thankful for Fortnite, Epic Games. They are one of, if not the best game company in terms of how they treat their consumer base. They're not giving us loot boxes. They're giving us the support a creator thing, like I keep mentioning, because it just blows my mind how no other game company has ever thought, hey, I think we should pay our creators that actually promote our game and make the game what it is today. I think it's a great thing that they've done that for us. And honestly, I can't wait to see what Fortnite does in the future. But yeah, it does upset me a little bit that it seems like that the employees are getting kind of the bad end of the stick here by working so many hours, and I just hope that something gets resolved with this soon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know with a like, but only if you enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on the bell just to get all my latest uploads, and comment down below what are your guys' thoughts on what I talked about today. Fortnite employees working 70 to 100 hour work weeks seems a little bit much. I would love to know what you guys think about this. Follow me on Twitter at ITalkFortnite. Join the Discord if you would like to use me for support a creator. My code is ITalkFortnite. If you don't choose me, please choose a legitimate content creator. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you all on the other side. See ya.